Maintenance required? Oh no! That light simply means that it's time for an oil change. That's all it means. Check engine light is a different story entirely. We're just changing the oil. This is a 2007 Toyota Camry with the 2GR FE V6 engine, and here's how you do it. First step is to park the vehicle on as level of the surface as you can. We don't have that luxury today. So you put the parking brake on. This particular one has the foot parking brake. If you got the one in the center, depending on exactly the model you have, just set that nice and tight. And the reason you want to do that is because this is a front wheel drive car, and even though you have it in park, it only locks the front wheels. The back wheels are free to spin. With the parking brake on, the brake is holding these back wheels so the car won't roll. That's not good enough. Put something behind your rear wheels, depending on which way your driveway slopes, of course, so the car won't roll. We have a brick handy, that'll work. You can get wheel chocks, whatever you want. Just block the rear wheels just in case. And then jack up the car. This particular one has a center point where you can actually jack it up from. I'll show you that in a minute. Jack it up in the air enough so you can get under there and work. Then you can put the jack underneath and jack it up, and there's a certain point where you can do that in the front to get the whole front end of the car up. I'll show you right now. Here's the plastic panels underneath, and there's like a U-shaped cutout, and right in there you can see the yellow from the jack. Right in there is where you can jack the car up safely. Once you do that, then you can go ahead and put some jack stands underneath. We've done that on both sides. And now we're going to prepare for changing the oil. For the type of oil, look on the cap. This one says SAE 5W30, energy conserving. SAE is standard oil. 5W30 doesn't call for synthetic. If you wanted to do synthetic, you can. It won't hurt it, but if it was designed for conventional, my recommendation is stick with conventional and just change it regularly like you're supposed to. So here's some STP 5W30 conventional. It's got all the same specifications, all the vitamins and dinosaurs the engine needs, so we're all good there. The engine says, or the book for the car says, for this V6 engine, 6.4 quarts with a filter change. And we're changing the filter. There's two types. It's the S9972. This is the XL. The XL means that it's extended life. It's a little bit better filter. It's a couple dollars. Get a good filter. That's the whole purpose of this entirely. And I want to show you something else about the filter. This is not your standard looking oil filter. This is a cartridge filter for this car. So we have the cartridge, and they give you the O-rings that are necessary to put on the canister that encloses this filter. So this is what you're actually replacing along with the O-rings. So now with everything jacked up, we're going to remove the oil filter cap. You can pull the dipstick if you want, just out a little bit, just to allow air in to get the oil out as fast as possible. So here's your oil pan. This is the drain bolt. So you're going to want a pan, which we have right over here, to catch the oil. You're going to take that out, let the oil drain.
The white thing is a absorbent for anything residual that might be able to go under the pan before you ruin your driveway.
Okay, great if you have that.
It's from the oil spill. You could purchase them, but I acquired enough.
Your filter, like I was explaining, is a cartridge. 3/8 wrench should fit that and spin it. In a perfect world, what's supposed to happen is that center plug with the 3/8 inch square hole in it is supposed to unscrew from that housing that's there. That didn't happen for us, but it's supposed to come out of that, and there's an O-ring in there that you would replace. When you pull that plug, you'll get just a couple little drippy drops of oil, but included with the filter, not shown, is a little plastic thing that you screw in, and that will allow the oil in the filter and canister to drain out first. Then you're supposed to put an oil filter removal tool on the housing and spin that off, but it all came as one piece. Oftentimes this is going to be the case because when you bring this to Jiffy Lube or wherever, they're not going to torque anything to spec. So because these pieces were frozen together, it's going to come out as one unit, as you'll see later on in this video. But the first step is going to be to take the bolt out and let the oil drain. There is the bolt. That is 14 millimeters. So make sure you use 14. We have a 14 socket here that we use. This wrench just didn't have enough oomph on it. There is a crush washer on here. They say to replace them. Some people do. Never had to do that. This just held the oil, which is still dripping, as you can see. So that's going to be fun to offload. But that's what we have. And unfortunately, due to the limitations in the size of this catch pan, we're going to have to offload this oil first and then undo the filter and let that drain into the pan and then offload that separate. If you had a nice one, well, it would just hold everything and you wouldn't have to worry. So I don't know how much you can see, but there's two little streams of oil that are coming out. We've put the bolt back into the oil pan and we've loosened the, I don't know if you want to call it a plug or the bottom plug. We'll call it a plug. And just loosen the threads and let that drip out. And now it's out. Hopefully you can see some of this. But there are two O-rings on this. We're going to show you that up close. So we're going to just drain out what's left of the cap there and get the filter out, and we'll show you the rest. There's the filter out. So like I showed before, there was the filter, these two O-rings. We found one of them. But curiously, there's also this little plastic guy. The box doesn't say. So as I explained earlier, what was supposed to happen was that bottom plug was supposed to come out of the housing that holds the actual filter cartridge. That didn't happen for us, and probably won't happen for you either, especially if your car has been brought to one of these Jiffy Lube type places. What that plug is for, that plastic piece, is after you get that bottom plug out, if yours comes out, you're only going to get a couple little drops of oil come out. That has threads on it and will screw in right there. And the little nipple on it will sort of puncture or push on something and allow the oil to drain out of that housing and out of the filter so it makes less mess. Doesn't matter either way. If the entire thing comes out as one piece, that's fine too. You just dump it out. Be careful to not make a mess, and that's it.
So this is dropped. This is clean. It doesn't have to be perfect. Here's one of the O-rings Jay was just talking about, which you should replace. This is what the car looks like from the road.
Right, like that's where you put the wrench in the bottom there.
Wrench on the bottom, or a tool designed for this, and then it has these little wing nuts to tighten and loosen. And it dropped down, and the filter fit in here. Put it back for purposes. It fit in there, and when you tighten it, it closed it. Okay, why did it close it? I don't know. But right here, it moves left and right, and it goes down. But it goes down and it twists, but it doesn't come out.
Right. It seems to just be spring-loaded, just to hold the filter up against the
Right.
inside?
Absolutely. I don't know if there's a seal in there, but I wouldn't imagine so because there's no seal here.
Right.
This is allowing you to take this device off. So
Right.
even if there's a seal here, it bears no mind. It would never leak. So I'm not going to bother with it. I'm just going to clean all the oil up, leave whatever oil's in there, and we'll put the filter on. I'll clean the housing, and we'll
Slam it back together, yeah.
Slam it.
Okay, we're removing that seal. Just a little screwdriver. You could use a little pick tool if you want, whatever works for you. And we're going to replace it with the red one that it comes with, like that. As far as the other seal goes that's in there, the smaller one, this was supposed to remove from this housing.
Because
so
it drains it.
Right. So
So
that
it
way
prevents you from dropping hot oil on yourself. So whatever this is like its own drain plug.
Right.
It did not work out that way.
Right. So it's just in there tight as it is.
And it's going to get even tighter once I put the whole housing on.
Right. So we're just going to make believe we didn't see that.
And there was no leaks. And I wouldn't be surprised if the mechanics did it that way too.
Right, and never changed it. So now we just run the new one down. Back in the same groove. Just work it. It'll go down. And that's it. Seated and ready to go. Make sure that you put some oil on that new O-ring that's there. You can just take some of the new oil, just dip your finger in the bottle and just run it around that, because that way it'll help prevent it from sticking, and that way it'll come off properly next time. The filter goes, that's delicious, in there. It's got to snap down in there like that.
And then when you tighten it,
it pushes down.
It makes a seal. And then this piece makes a seal. So we're ready.
Okay, we have the drain plug back in. We have the filter back in. And we're putting some nice clean oil into the engine. 6.4 quarts. This is 5 quarts, so this entire thing gets dumped in. We'll put in another quart to make it 6, and then we're going to check the dipstick and see what it shows, and then we'll work on that 0.4 business.
I have a question.
Your question is?
Oil is oil. It's not water or anything else. Do they account for the residual stuff that stays in the bottle?
Nope.
So you're always
it's sold,
a little bit less than, it's never practical. Like,
right. That has 5 quarts of this, like you were baking a cake or something and put it in the thing. But even with that, when you dump the oil out of your measuring cup, there's some that stays in the measuring cup. So nobody ever accounted for that in life. I don't know why, but that's why you have additional on hand. 6.4, that's 5, 6, that's 7. The 0.6 that's left there is going to more than account for any residual oil that is left behind in the bottles. We have put the car back on the ground and we are now ready. We have 6 quarts in, and now we need to do 0.4. This bottle is marked, it's 32 ounces, and it's marked 14 and 18. So you need half of that is 16. But this is 0.4 quarts. 16 is 0.5. So you don't want to go down there. We're going to pour oil out to about there and check the dipstick. And you can always add just a little bit more, check the dipstick till you get it just right. Do not overfill. Don't just go to the half mark, because that's going to be too much. Err on the side of caution. So now we'll pour some of that in until we get to about that line, and then we're going to go ahead and check it. Okay, lowered, oil's in, cap is back on, fire. Okay, the rattle you had there is normal. That's going to be just for a moment. It went away. Everything's good. And now we go underneath and check the leaks. The rattly sound you got is because there's no oil in the engine. The pump has to pump that through the filter, through everything, up the oil galleys, through the VVTi, all that great stuff. It's got to go through that. So you are going to get a little rattly depending on the age of the engine. And now she's running nice and smooth. So now we go underneath and check the leaks.
See the difference in the car, really low compared to the jacked up in the air.
No leaks, so we're all good. We have to reset the maintenance required light. I'll show you that in a voiceover with the manual. On page 145 of your owner's manual, it explains this procedure right in the center. It says that the engine oil maintenance data must be reset after replacement of the engine oil. Reset the data by the following procedure. So at this point, you've already started the engine and checked for leaks like we just did. So the engine should be running at this point, and it says to turn off the engine with the trip meter A reading shown. So before you turn the engine off, you're going to press that little button for the odometer thing on the dashboard until it shows your trip A reading. Once you do that, turn the engine off. So now it says the ignition switch must be set at on while holding down the trip meter reset knob. To explain this, it basically means if you have the push button start, you're going to leave your foot off the brake and hold that button on the dashboard for the odometer. Hold that down and don't let go. And then if you have the push button, you're going to press twice, and that's going to turn all the lights on the dash on. If you have a traditional key, you would just turn that to the on position. So whatever you do, you're going to be holding that button down for the odometer and turn your key on or switch to the on position with your push button. And if you have the message display, it will say oil mileage reset mode. There's going to be a little scroll bar that'll go across there. It says hold down the knob at least 5 seconds. So you'll see that little progress bar go across there, and it says a message complete will appear. Then the message oil mileage reset goes away. And otherwise everything is all good. So everything's closed up. Next day, check your oil again and make sure it's up to that second hole on the dipstick. And if it is, everything's perfect. If it needs a little, you add a little. Thanks for watching. Make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.